Salt Papi is back, finally. Main event Salt Papi. A great thing to see after the disaster of a main event in that last Misfits number 13. That was a rough one. It was supposed to be the 2v1 Fox the G. One of his opponents backed out. Very lame fight. And now we're back to seeing some familiar faces in the influencer boxing scene. Some popular names. Guys like Salt Papi in the main event. And King Kenny on the card as well. Could be some potential build up here for a future matchup between the two. And I love that. For these cards, you have to have a good main event. And this is one that I really like. Good job, Misfits. In his first main event, Salt Papi is going against Amadeusz Ferrari. I believe that's how you say the name. Not quite sure. An MMA fighter holding a record of 6-5. A name you may not have heard of, but from what I heard, in his last fight, he did pull in a pretty solid amount of pay-per-views. Misfits is trying to bring in a new audience here, a Polish fighter. It seems like he has a built-in audience, and it's not a bad idea. I like this fight, but of course, mostly because of the return of Salt Papi. I'm very excited to see how much he has developed since his prime card loss to Slim. It's redemption season, and I can't wait to see it. Like I mentioned earlier, we do have King Kenny on this card as well, coming up against Adam Brooks, who has fought on Misfits as well. An older fighter here. I believe he is 44, and I also believe this is going to be light work for King Kenny. I do think Misfits wants to set up a big fight for King Kenny next, whether it's Salt Papi or not. I think Kenny is going to be way too fast for Adam Brooks. I know many have said that King Kenny lacks a killer instinct. When the pressure is put on him, he falls apart sometimes a little bit. He definitely struggles with it. We saw it in the AT fight. We saw it even against someone like Ashley Roxu. He did really well in something like the Kingpin tournament when he was going up against Whindersson Nunes, someone who didn't really put any pressure on him and kind of just let him do what he wanted. But I don't think King Kenny would need a finish in this fight. I think it's possible, but I think he could easily box his way to a decision here. I don't think Brooks is going to be able to catch him. Kenny's too explosive, he's too quick, and I think that's going to be a huge factor here. I think they want to set up a Salt Papi fight if they both win, and I think that's why he has this opponent. But I'm very excited to see him return to the ring. And up next, if you've been following the influencer boxing space for some time now, you may remember this fight from the Kingpin tournament. It was supposed to go down, but maybe you have forgotten. It's been some time. I'm talking about Jully Poca versus Barbie. This is an awesome fight. Jully Poca, the #1 pound-for-pound women's fighter on Misfits, 100%. She came over from the Kingpin tournament, if you remember that, a failed influencer boxer YouTube tournament. Had all these big names in it. Got to the final round. It was supposed to be Jully Poca versus Barbie, and the event kind of just fell through. The company shut down. Didn't pay anybody. Yeah, it was a mess. But everyone was looking forward to this matchup. Barbie, who nobody thought could get to the weight, had made the weight in the first 2 rounds of the tournament. The most power in the women's side of influencer boxing, and it's not even close. I do think Jully Poca has the better technical ability, but I don't know if she's going to be able to eat those shots for an entire fight, because I don't think she could put Barbie away. This is going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm glad Misfits is finally putting this one together after previously stating they didn't want to continue this Kingpin tournament. But with Jully Poca as the champion, it just made sense to do. Those are the ones I really wanted to talk about here, but let's kind of quick fire off these last few fights. We're seeing the return of Ryan Taylor coming up against Mist. Don't know anything really about Mist. Don't know how good he is. I'm going to have to look into his boxing ability before I make any predictions or anything. We have another round of the lightweight Misfits tournament with Argentinian King versus Meals with Max. Now, I did study up on everyone in this lightweight tournament, but the Tasmanian Devil, I think his name was, dropped out of the tournament, and this Meals with Max is replacing him, and I haven't had the time to look into him yet. So I love the lightweight tournament. this is the next fight going down, and I'm looking forward to see how they compare to the previous fighters we've seen thus far, because I have been impressed. And then we have the big man Tempo Arts defending his belt against a first timer on Misfits, which is a kind of a interesting idea to have a first time fighter on Misfits fighting for the belt. Doesn't make that much sense to me, but I'm still looking forward to Tempo Arts defending his belt regardless. I like Tempo. His last fight against Chase Demore, he said he was injured, so I'm expecting him to look better in this fight. Hopefully, it's a good one. Now, if you didn't know, last 2 Misfits cards, I've perfectly predicted the winners for every fight. The last 2 cards, I'm 100%. So stay tuned for my Misfits 14 predictions. I'm going for 3 out of 3 events this year. All predictions correct, hopefully. Predictions video should be out about a week before these fights. What fight are you most looking forward to on this card? Let me know. Subscribe for more boxing content and updates, more combat sports updates. The support is much appreciated. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so subscribe if you feel like it. That would be pretty cool. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.